Alright, homie, you said you want to see some experiments, maybe get inspired. I got you two different ways to make percussion stuff. Like it either sounds really good or it sounds really bad. So I'm gonna kind of mention oh man, get out of my face. Uh ADSR sample manager is free and you're gonna want to fill up a folder with a bunch of samples. And so it's pretty helpful to browse. That's what I used to browse my sample library and just fill it up with one shots, percussion, effects. Then I sorted by like, I deleted all the huge stuff from the folder and then ended up with a bunch. And I kept them, and I made like 128 things per folder. And then this is another free thing, tx16wx. They have a they have a pro version that's got some more features, but we're just using the free version. So uh, you can also use direct wave if you've got the full FL Studio, or I'm sure there's lots of other samplers. You could even just use FPC, but you only get 32 slots. So basically, um, we're gonna use Patcher, and it's gonna be a VFX sequencer in there. So I'm just gonna choose that to shortcut one thing. So um, so the sequencer is gonna run into a color mapper, and it's gonna look like that. Color mapper is gonna have all the outputs activated, and I'm gonna have 16 tx16wx hooked up, and use this parameter here. You can automate this voice output. It's called uh, note color group 1 to voice output. So you can either check it here, or you can right click and just choose activate. Same thing. So you got that little dot. And VFX sequencer, it's a version of BlueArp. You could use BlueArp if you want to make and save your own bank of patterns. Um, this just comes with a bunch of patterns built in, but it's good. You don't need to worry about it. Uh, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna automate this parameter. I'm gonna activate that, and you can see here on the list. Um, with these lists, a little tip in FL Studio is right click keeps the menu open. So I got curve program checked. That's the pattern. I'm gonna do sync and master transpose octave, master transpose semitone. Uh, that's the main things. What's that? 4 things. Um, other candidates would be steps if you want to change the size of the pattern. Um, or swing, so you might want to change swing. The restart. There's get to know the sequencer or BlueArp. You could read the BlueArp manual to kind of find out more about the sequencer. But yeah, those things. This 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 and these two down here are what I'm gonna do. And I'm gonna point out that you gotta sometimes when you're doing this as a general rule, count the number of things that you're doing, and we're gonna make controls that have that number of spots. So like if this is 0 to 127, we can just make a control with those minimum and maximum values digits. It's gonna be Sync is, that's 13 things, so it's going to be 0 to 12. So we'll just mainly want 16th notes, but you can change it to 24th notes or 12th notes are pretty cool. And octaves goes up 3, down 3, so that's 7 things. And semitones goes up 12, down 12, that's 25 things. So we'll get back to the surface here in a minute and build all that. Right now I want to go ahead and do the put all the samplers in. And so it's going to take, I'm going to pause a couple times while I do this. Basically add the plugin. It's tx16wx, and then going to duplicate it like this, drag the save preset, and I'm going to repeat that. Okay, so I've got all my things made. Now I'm going to go to each one and load the presets, which we'll kind of take a look at how you would make one of these on the way. Like, this is what it looks like. It's you got a file manager, file browser, and you browse to like your folder that you put your samples in, and you select a bunch of them. You can just like click the top, hold shift and click the bottom, drag 128 things over, and then the main two boxes we're worried about is groups and regions. So we're dragging things into this regions box, and then taking a look at groups right where it says mode, and you can either do one shot or normal. That's just like, normal is like they're all in a cut group, and one shot is they keep playing when another one starts. I don't know what toggle and release is all about, but so yeah, mode, you may, you might want to change the mode, you might not, but basically, yeah, that's it. You just drag stuff into here, change that, and then what you want to do is give this a name, give this a name, give this a name, and then use this button right here to save. And when you go to save, I don't know why it's not letting me click that button. I guess it's because it's already saved. I haven't done anything to it. But anyway, when you go to save, just make a folder, keep all these types of file in one place, and there's a box at the bottom of your save box called copy samples, and it'll copy all the samples from wherever and put them in your folder with your presets. So that way you can move your samples around later or delete it. Like, I did it all on my desktop, and then I just deleted the folders later. So yeah, so I set one of those up. Now I'm going to go through and do the other 15 real quick. Okay, so that part's done. They've all got a bank loaded. Might as well just be a little anal retentive and line them up. Now we disconnect and then reconnect. I'm going to go through and hook all these up. All right, they're all hooked up. Next thing's going to be to make the surface and hook them up here. So let's take a quick refresh on what we're doing. 127, 0 to 127, 0 to 13, minus 3 to 3, minus 12 to 12, and on this one it's going to be 1 to 16. So 5-digit boxes over here. Let's make a grid. I'm gonna make a big old boxes because I got plenty of space. This is as small as it gets, so no sense in trying to cram them all in the corner if I'm be wasting space. So digits, box big. So we got 1, 2, duplicate, and then one more. And give them names. So this one's going to be pattern. This one's going to be sync. This one's going to be octave. This one's going to be semitones. This one's going to be channel. All right. So pattern. The default on these digits boxes is 0 to 10. So minimum value is going to be fine on most of them. Maximum value 127 for pattern. Sync's maximum value is going to be 12, because 0 to 12 is 13 things. Octave minimum value is going to be -3. Maximum value is going to be 3. Semitones is going to be -12. Maximum value is going to be 12. Channel minimum value is going to be 1. Maximum value is going to be 16. And for sync, I know the default value on this, so I'm going to set that and then right click and say set default value. The rest of them are good. So we're going to go test it out now. Go over here. Oh, wait. Set, okay, remember tab sizes. That way when you switch back and forth, it does that. Let me shrink this down a little bit. Right. So just hover over the little socket up here and you can see in the hint panel what you're hovering. So just make sure you're paying attention. Sometimes they rearrange or they're not in the order you think. So pattern to program, sync to sync, octave to octave, wait, semitones to semitones, and channel to note color group 1 to voice output. Cool. So we're all hooked up. It's always a good idea to test. So we'll get this open here and just watch watch the spot. Make sure you putting it at the minimum and maximum makes sense. Just a double check. So watch right there. Channel. Yep. Okay. Pattern's easy to see. Roll the wheel. You can see something happening there. Sync is right here. Watch that spot. Change to different places. You should see the movement there. Even if the resolution doesn't make it so you can actually see what's going on, you can tell something's happening, right? Octave. That's these two spots right here. So I'll roll up, I'll roll down. Looks good. Roll up, roll down. Looks good. Cool. So we're set. We can give this a name, and maybe I'll give it a color and a name, and we'll call it a percussion machine, and a color is cool too. Oh heck, let's give it an icon. This looks like a cool icon right there. And then save it. Save the preset as percussion machine. Right. So, oh man, I didn't even just save it with that open. So anyway, I said I was going to do two things. So the second thing, cardinal is another VST. I'm gonna start in a new project here, and we will use the thing eventually. We'll get back to it. I saved it as a preset. So this one, it's basically all those same folders. I said I deleted them. I didn't delete all of them. I kept some, and in Cardinal we have something called sampler. Let me look for it. Make the window big. Well, we have a couple things called sampler, I'm sure, but the one from Vox Glitch, there's one called play, and it has plus and minus buttons, but it doesn't have a control. Wave bank. All right, Vox Glitch wave bank. So you have. I haven't made presets in Cardinal because I don't know. I did it in VCV Rack, but so I'm gonna make 8 of these because why not? And I'm going to go through each one and choose a folder. So hopefully after the first time, I don't have to keep browsing to my documents folder and just picking one. So here's one. Just pick the first thing off the list. Select a directory. I'll pause this in a minute and finish up this part. Next is going to be some effects. Select the first one. Cool. All right. So I picked some folders, and I went ahead and tried to figure out where they save the presets for Cardinal because it wasn't opening in the right folder. But I browsed to where I thought the folder would be: Documents, Cardinal, Presets, Vox Glitch, Wavebank. And I found that Wavebank folder was created, so I'm saving presets here. I'm going to do it one more time. This was tiny random. And so they do show up on the list. So if you do this once and save your presets, then you don't have to do it again. That's nice. So I'm going to need a mixer for all that. A stereo mixer. Mix. This is a 9-channel mixer that would let me have one channel for. Oh, these have aux. We could have an 8-channel mixer that's not stereo. We could have the big, everyone's favorite, the Mixmaster Junior. Mixmaster. I might use the MSC hack mixer because I don't use it. No, I'm going to use the MSC hack starts with everything, all the faders are down. So I'm going to use Mixmaster Junior. And that way if I decide I want aux effects, I can add the aux expander. But we'll just hook up the main left and right. Hook up the samples. Left and right. Okay, this is going to take a minute, so I'll pause. Alright, so we got them hooked up to the mixer. And if I send a trigger in to here, it will play the thing. And there are a lot of different ways to do this. So like, and I basically every time you do it, you're going to come up with a different thing. There are just so many possibilities that it's almost impossible to do the same thing twice, even if you're trying. So like you can have a clock, or we're going to want a MIDI from the host. So going to have the notes coming in to either a sequencer, or what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use flip-flops. I'm going to have a bunch of flip-flops. So if I got 8 things, every time you use one, you basically get at most 3 off of one trigger, because you got to hook one of the first triggers output to the next trigger. And so a sequence of flip-flops would be like, okay, so I got a trigger that comes in here. We'll say that we give it a send a note in and trigger it, and it's going to go A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B. But if I hook B to the next trigger, then it's A, B. It's like it'll be like A, one of these, A, the other one. And so you can send another to here, and then another to here, and then another to here, or you can even alternate which one sends. And it comes up with different patterns. There are, like, that's just one of many ways. So we're gonna hook the triggers up however it is. There's also that matrix. You can use a matrix to let you rearrange all this, like, but I'm not gonna get too fancy because I can't actually think of how that would work. So another one of them, and then I got two more, so I need one more flip-flop. And so send that into there, and I got that and that. All right, so for now, we'll test it, and I'll show what you got to do with the gate to make it work right. See these zero length notes. If I just draw in some notes, what's going to happen is there's a setting called force gate gaps between notes, and it's not, I don't have that checked right now. So listen, if I hit play, we played once and then nothing's happening because it's just one long gate. You see right here, put it on the scope. You can see what's going on. Hook this up, and you can see that it's just the gate high. What we want is like alternate. So force gate gaps between notes. And so, yeah, like the next thing we want is a way to choose a random. We just want to send some random values into here. And this is probably, it's 0 to 10 volts. I'm going to guess. That's what I've been using. And so sample and hold. S and H. No, S. Oh, my freaking shift keys. Not, like, I don't get it. FL Studio just decides not to use. First it was like, oh, I don't want to use the Control Q shortcut anymore today. And now, okay, so I've got that many. I got 2 off of 1, so I'm going to do 4 of them. And I'll have, if this is channel 1, we'll say MIDI channel 1. Then we'll have another one of them. Excuse me. And this one will be MIDI channel 2. And we'll send the gate to all of these gates. So copy that, you just control drag to move your thing. And then each one of these goes to one of these. So da 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 da, all of that. And once this is hooked up, we'll try having see what happens when we send our two channels. So go to the piano roll, choose the second channel, choose a note. Doesn't matter where because we're only using the gate. But so hit play. All right. So yeah, that's well, needs a bit of refinement, but that was I did say I was going to do two things. Now let's get that other let's get the good one out. I made that preset. I didn't use it. Patcher. This guy can shrink down. I can condense this so that I can see it all. Get over there. Shrink up. Get over here. Maybe go down here like that. And there. Now the window's a little smaller. So like, yeah, this sequencing is with flip flops is, I mean, it's quick and simple, and you never really know what's going to happen. But there are actual sequencers and many other better ways to do this. This is just one way that is quick and you don't have to think too hard, because that's kind of the point here. Not thinking is key to good percussion. So I'm gonna close that. Have that. We can use that pattern here and there when we want. Maybe like I'll do not so full of notes, and we'll make this be the full length so that Control A, Control B, B, and only use that once. So it'll play for a little while longer. Whoops. All right. Let's choose that preset. We called it percussion machine. Now, I've made this several different versions. I think this is the one. Yeah, I gave it a color and an icon so I can see. Let's wait a minute while it loads up a lot of samples. I'm so glad I went for more cheap RAM rather than less fast RAM. I wish I could go for more fast RAM, but unfortunately, no. What am I doing? I keep middle clicking when I don't mean to. How about a drum? Kick two. How about I made FPC kit with some snares and another one with some hi-hats, so I don't have to think too hard for just picking out a snare or a hi-hat, or so there's that. And maybe like an atmosphere. What do we got? That's one. Where's the pad? I want that one. I want two atmospheres. I'm just gonna fill her up. Presets. I guess that one sounded cool. Apparently, I liked it enough to make a preset out of it. One more, just because we're being silly, and it's gonna be. Could have a bass. I don't really have a plan there. Um, Pads has one more that I saw it and I said, yeah, that one. Is it this one? Or is it this one? Oh, this one. No. Yeah, I kind of like that one. So a kick. I feel like this one lately. It's not too clicky. Kind of short and thumpy, but it's not exactly a psytrance kick. Just more of a house kick. So snare. So here's this cool trick. Like, have you ever been in this tab and wondered what add to key was for? Well, here's what it's for. Let me show you. So if I put, let me put go to a new pattern. Say I put my snare triggers and my hat triggers, and so we'll look and see what happens here. This is just put in the little clicking these spots in the channel rack. That's a C5, right? And sending a C5 the way I've got this kit set up. You can see that. And if I use this little transpose thing with right click, you right click and it changes where the blue note is. So like then over here, watch, it's still in the same spot right here. But if I use add to key, it actually moves it around, but it doesn't change the pitch. So yeah, that's what that does. It's very useful. If you use FPC with a bunch of the same kind of sample, then you can turn it into like a selector with just transposing. Picking a different note would choose a different thing. I mean, picking a different note already does on the piano roll, but it makes this transpose thing pick a different note rather than transpose the pitch. So really what I wanted is a different hi-hat. Add the key. Well, I don't know. Ooh, I like where that's at. I'm going to take this note out so it just stays like that. Oops.